Hey, yo, Neil. Hey, what's up? I got you. Got you. Yeah. R.I.P. Grammy. Free my brother. It's free to his backwards. Look.
Can you hear me?
Okay, go.
We take no days
Yeah,
off. We taking no
yeah.
days off. So Hammer gonna be in and out on us. We gonna let y'all know right now, visitors. Just because this Labor Day, we got things going. He jumping on for a few minutes. Then he gonna be in the car. Then he gonna be doing this stuff. My
Sorry,
man
man.
Darnell just came back from morning practice, watching film, cussing his lineman out. Like this is what we do on Labor Day. I'm gonna be working on my CV, trying to get my next edit of my qualifying paper ready. Like we just doing this, but we gonna have fun because it's opening weekend of college, opening week of college football. I'm not gonna get it wrong. We've been doing forever, but this is really the opening weekend we just had. NFL is coming up. It's gonna be popping. We just had our draft last night, our fantasy draft. We didn't have that on the rundown. We might have to hit that right now. You know,
They ain't like your draft, bro.
man,
They're
I
like,
don't
who's
really
that?
care. I remember the last time Marcus
I thought
played
that
the
was a
league before.
bogus. I didn't think Washburn was that good either. Man. I
I,
want to
I'm,
see
I'm,
that.
I'm gonna tell you right now. Last time my boy Marcus played, game changer. He won the league, and Yahoo gave him like a C minus on his team in the draft. I'm like Prime. I'm like Prime. Do you believe? Do you believe me
Yeah,
now? Are you with
yeah.
us? You know, that's what's going to be. I already know what I'm going to do. But it's good. It's good to have my guys with me. What's up, Darnell? You know, did you cuss him out today? I'm sorry. I hope you didn't, man.
Man,
You lost to my home squad. You lost to Pie High. Second winningest program in the state of Michigan. You shouldn't feel so bad.
no, we just had like 2 hour long film session. It was brutal.
Eye in the
We
sky
went
don't lie,
at
man.
it. You see a lot of stuff on film that you don't see live and in person.
That's right.
Like there's a lot of stuff I didn't catch. Like we went over the double teams all day, all week, and then come to find out we watched film and inside linebacker just running through, and nobody coming off to pick him up. I'm like, oh my god, that just happened over and over and over again. I'm like, we get him pushed on the front side, but why is the dude running through? Oh, that's because you ain't snap off. Wow.
Wow.
Yep.
Like I told you, remember I told you, I said, find one or two things they got to improve this week. You already found it. You already found it. You already found it, brother. Well, that's the life of a coach. That's the life of a coach. That's what's so great about it, but that's what's so heart aching about it. But you're gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right. Good Pioneer got his first victory in a while. I'm okay with that. Hammer, I was with you last night in fantasy. You trying to get everything going. I know
Yep,
we got you for a few minutes. How you doing, brother?
yep.
Before you
I'm doing
jump in
well,
the car
man.
and jump back.
Blessed, highly favored, man. Got a nice rest. It was nice to be with you and Kevin last night, and reunite with the guys on online. But yeah, things are good, man. Things are good. Things are blessed. Yeah. So the
Well,
car has a flat, but we gonna beat that, man. We're resilient. We're real sports guys, man. Gotta be resilient in life, man.
that's it.
Life
That's
will
it.
knock you down. You gotta get up and you gotta jump. You can't just get up. You gotta get up and jump. Then you can't just get up. Plain and
Well, we,
simple. You
well,
gotta
while we got
bounce
you,
back up.
we'll get right into this open mic and get it right. Please go to realsportsguys.com and Real Sports Guys on all social media platforms. Please give us a like, give us a message, send us a question. We the underground. We try to build person by person, block by block. But Prime told y'all. Prime told y'all. Now, a lot of folks out there. Prime told everybody. Uh, your, give me your initial impressions of what you saw. Like, what did you like about what you saw with Colorado? I'll start with you, Darnell, and then go to Hammer.
Man, I loved it. First thing, well, obviously the first thing we all noticed was Travis Henry. Oh, not Travis Henry. Travis
Hunter.
Hunter, not
Yep.
Travis Henry. Travis Hunter playing both sides pretty much the whole game. He played 100 plus snaps, but after the game, he still had energy. He got them young legs. So
The young
he
legs.
he was showing up and showing out. He put himself on the Heisman watch list for sure. But yeah, the son, Shador Sanders, he was accurate. He was accurate. He was wheeling and dealing through 519 yards. He set the school record in his first game in the Colorado uniform. That was the other big thing that I noticed because man, um, everybody say, "Oh yeah, he was doing that against the HBCU competition. What is he gonna do when he plays against the big dogs in the Power Five?" Well, we saw TCU was in the national championship game last year. They didn't really show up, but they were there.
Yep.
Um, but you saw what he was able to do against them, so now you got to give him the respect.
You got to, and that's a tough place to try to win a game too on the road. Hammer, what impressed you about what you saw?
Oh, they were bouncing back when TCU scored. They scored back. They were in Fort Worth. It was a great victory, especially considering the point spread. 21 points. It's supposed to be a blowout. And I didn't know. I was stunned. I saw a point spread. I was like checking my glasses and checking to see because I just couldn't believe that. But yeah, but Prime again, he's a great inspirational leader, and I don't think he's going to be that long in Colorado. I think he's going to probably go to the NFL or something because it's just yeah, he's just too big for college football. I think. But again, I agree with Travis Hunter. I didn't know Travis. I thought Travis was only a cornerback. So see him. I saw the box score and I was like, what? He dropped a couple. He had a couple things where he should have scored. So yeah, so Travis Hunter clearly going to be one of the best top picks in in the 25 draft. And sure Sanders, we'll see. I hope I'm sure Dion hopes he stays, but right now I see he's probably second round grade, but that's second round up. He's going second round, first round. So, but really, I was very impressed with the team, very impressed with, and yeah, just again, TCU's had a couple of bad games, losing the crib and then getting blown out in the championship game, but TCU, yeah, and we had a Big 12 basically preview.
Yeah,
That's the one thing. So, yeah, so it's going to be because it was Big 12 through and through. There was really no defense. So that's the only thing that I would say that the defense has to get better. But the OC has the coach of Kent State, who's a Wisconsin alum. I like to add. He showed up and showed out as an OC, and I don't think he's gonna
yeah.
be a long either. I think he'll have a nice head coaching job. Maybe come back to Wisconsin because the way we looked this weekend, we need a new coach already. So yeah, so
Oh boy, I guess I gotta get to that other stuff that you said. We gotta get to that item because I know you got something to say. Yeah,
yeah. But I got to dip for a little bit. I'll be back. Peace.
yeah. We know we got you. He'll be back on. Darnell, like what I was, when I saw the spread, I'm like, look, y'all crazy. Like y'all can say a lot of things about Prime, but he ain't gonna have a team that's gonna go out here and beat by 21 points. That ain't gonna happen. Like they might pull away and get a 14-point victory on a late score in the fourth quarter, but you're not gonna do that to him. So when I saw that, I was like, I need to find a bookie, to do that. What I was impressed with, I think you hit on like their offense and their team speed, and I felt like his son was one of the best quarterbacks in the country last year. There's some things you can look at mechanics and see that this stuff it translates to other areas. It's something that you can go on the road. You can see he understands how to read the field. You can see he knows how to make decisions. He makes quick decisions. He's got good arm strength. You look at it. He runs. He can run, but he runs when he needs to run. Like you can see those kind of good decisions. So I never really doubted him as a quarterback at all. And then Hunter was like a 5-star. Everybody wanted him. He just decided to go to Jackson State because he was going to play for a guy who he wanted to play like, which he proved this past weekend. The thing that everybody worried about is when you try to put that many players together is up front. Like you coach offensive line and defensive line. And like defensive line, I mean, when you got one of the Hall of Famers coaching the D line, they're gonna figure it out. And he understood how to use speed and leverage. So I think they'll figure out that defensive line play. But the offensive line part, being able to run the football, they got a freshman running back who just turns the corners, explosive, and and sometimes that can help out a line that's trying to figure out what to do when you got a player like that who can catch ball in space and create things. And so the offensive line was where I was probably worried because it's going to take a little bit to gel and to do it, but they show poise and the things. If I think about like what do they need to work on, the things they need to work on were correctable. They had some special teams hiccups. That's correctable. Um, on defense, there was just, people missing fits and getting into space. Film can correct some of that. They played hard. They got to the ball. I think their secondary can help them in terms of, being able to do some things. The front seven is where they're going to have to continue to get better, but I think they can do that. I think their schedule allows them to evolve that way. They're going to be playing Nebraska. Nebraska's going to be tough, but Nebraska's learning itself, and so Nebraska's going to give them a different look, but it's going to be another growth opportunity before they got to get to USC maybe in like 3 or 4 weeks. And USC got a terrible defense too, so it's just going to be who can score more. So I feel like they got the fits there. What are some of the things that you saw that they need to work on, and are those things in your mind, like you got a little bit more trained eye than I do? Are they the correctable things, or are they things that he ain't gonna really be able to correct this year? He's gonna be able to correct next year. What do you see?
Well, it depends. It depends on what level we're talking about. Like,
Yeah,
I think they have some trouble up front
yeah,
on both. Like you said, both sides of the ball. You're talking about offensive line. I'm talking about defensive line.
yeah, yeah,
As far as getting guys in there that can stop and run,
yeah,
and it's not gonna happen right away. But you're not gonna see it until you see them play against teams like Utah,
yeah.
teams that are really teams that are really
That's gonna be a
physical
tough one right
and
there.
they play
Utah's gonna be a tough
downhill.
one. Yeah,
Yeah, you're gonna if you see them play teams like Utah, even USC. Shoot, USC um they're an air raid team, but Lincoln
yeah,
Riley they'll run counter. They'll get down there and run counter
yeah,
power. Um, they control the box, but they will run the ball. So they might run into some trouble there. But yeah, the physical teams I think are gonna bother him.
mm,
But as he stays there longer,
yeah,
and can start to recruit these big linemen, I think they'll be all right. But they'll be all right anyway.
yeah.
It's just to what degree, you know what I'm saying? I think they'll be a team that they're gonna play in a bowl game. They're gonna be a team that's like 9-3, 10-2, but they're not gonna be ready to compete for a championship just yet.
See, this is why you and I are the same guy. Because I was just talking to my Deacon Garrett. And Deacon Garrett's a big Ducks fan, but he's been a coach for a long time. He knows his sports, so he's in that 7 to 8, 10. And I was like, nah, he gonna get 9 wins, 9 to 10 wins. So I'm glad. I was gonna say how many wins you thought. I think they're gonna have trouble. I think he's gonna upset one of those big teams they play. But they got Oregon, you got Utah, right? You got SC. Um, you know,
Don't forget about UCLA. What Dante
UCLA, they might if they get 2-2 on that, right? Um, you know, that'll be important. So we'll see. You know,
Yeah, they gonna
so
whoop on Arizona. I'm
yeah, that's yeah,
I like the wild, so they gonna whoop on Arizona State, Washington State. If they play Washington, that's gonna be a tough game.
yeah, that's gonna be a
Washington,
tough game.
yeah,
And so get something in the fourth quarter because those got great quarterbacks, right? But I think they'll surprise some of those teams, like you said. They'll get 9 wins, 10 wins, and that's a big turnaround from 1-11. In that. But we'll keep we're gonna keep the watch on him. We're gonna keep the watch on him and see how things go. We got the free Harbaugh thing going. Everybody wants free Harbaugh. Michigan did what they're supposed to be doing.
can you
Huh?
can you say free hardball when it's a self-imposed suspension?
That's what I was thinking. Like it's like y'all, the person y'all need to talk to. Y'all can march on the president's house if y'all want to, and have them lift the suspension. It's self-imposed, but you gotta love the youngins. They got the shirts going out there. JJ McCarthy doing his thing and trying to be there for his coach. Um, what makes Michigan, it's funny because ESPN want to push them Ohio State, but when you look at the Big Ten Network, everybody else, a lot of people are giving Michigan a nod. Ohio State's good. They still trying to figure out their quarterback. We'll figure out.
I told you in the spring, Michigan go get number 3 in a row.
So what is it about them that is like getting them turn the corner when you watch them play? Like what is giving you confidence in turn the corner because they've clearly turned the corner as a program.
Well,
What do you like about them?
it's like we always say, the game of football is won at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
It's won
yeah,
in the trenches.
yeah,
But well, the thing about Ohio State is Ohio State they took a clear step back at quarterback. Right? They're not going to be the same type of team that they're very talented on both
mm,
sides of the ball. It's that quarterback that can make the offense go. I think they don't really have it.
mm,
And then they have about 4 or 5 really good running backs. But then the offensive line isn't at the level to where they can really lean on it like they need to. Like you saw at the beginning of the Ohio State game, um, they were struggling to get pushed against Indiana. I mean,
Yeah.
come on, man. Like, but then you saw it towards the end of the game, like when they started going more tempo, Kyle McCord, the quarterback, you started seeing them get more comfortable. So you see, maybe they're not there yet, but maybe they might be to a point where they can compete with Michigan at the end of the year. But I don't see it just yet. But one thing I did see, I saw the very first drive on defense. You see the effect Michigan has on Ohio State and the way they play football and their just the whole philosophy of it, right? Because you
Mm.
watch Ohio State D line, or you watch any Larry Johnson coach D line from 2017, 2018 when Nick Bosa, Chase Young, Joey Bosa, all them was playing. They were upfield. Like their defensive end, the
Mm.
way they set the edge, they'll set the edge by I'm a beat this tackle so fast up the field. They're going to the running back going to just cut it back.
Yeah.
But nah, you can't do that with Michigan. Michigan's a gap scheme team. They
Yeah.
like to run counter, trap, power. They're going to kick you out. So you see just the way they're playing Indiana. They're not playing Michigan. They playing Indiana. But everybody talks about JTT, Jack Sawyer, they're not getting
Mm.
sacked. They're not getting sacked. But if you watch, they're there. They're setting the edge. They're playing the run. Like
Mm.
well, like their whole concept, like even the way their front is set up, like their front, they're built to stop the run. So, could you see a game like I don't know? Because the thing is, like Ohio State built like specifically now to beat Michigan,
Mm.
except without that trigger man, I don't know. I don't know if you're going to out Michigan without that guy. So I have to go with Michigan at this point. But you can see the effect Michigan has had on Ohio State football.
Yeah, and JJ's made some throws. He made some throws. You look at. I mean, like as you're very familiar. Buffalo, not who they play. Who did Michigan? I'm thinking Wisconsin.
Michigan played.
Uh,
Michigan played.
uh, who they play?
What's it called?
I'm like losing my mind today. Um, but even though it wasn't a level of competition,
No.
like JJ made some throws. I was like, okay, some maturing throws. Like it wasn't like last year. He's making throws like I just want to show you I got arm talent. This one was like it was the right throw to make. Right, you can see the maturity,
Mhm.
and he's a great athlete. You and I. One of the things you talked about last year is like his feet. Michigan not even using his speed and his athleticism sometimes. To open up the game with him and like open up his throwing game as much. And so you see a maturity, and obviously having Blake Corum back, running the rock helps out a lot with that. So we were watching Michigan. I mean, Jim will be coming back in Game 4, where he probably when he needs to come back, he probably should rest and
Yeah, they play East Carolina in week one.
they play East Carolina. Um, and so it wasn't it was, but he was making throws. You like okay,
Mhm.
I can see him making throws even as the competition gets stiffer, right? And so I was impressed with that. Were there any other teams you watched so far that that were impressed, or what were some of the other things that you saw this in this early week that like, you're like, wow, this is pretty. This is going to be something I need to watch going on here in the next few weeks.
Well, Florida State was interesting with those
Yeah,
big old wide receivers.
yeah,
They got some boy Keon Coleman from Michigan State
yeah.
transferred over there. And he I think he had 3 touchdowns against LSU. Just another big body, and then he's not the only one. They go 6'5", 6'6", 6'4" at the receiver spot. So they just throwing jump balls here all around the yard. So it's really hard to match up with them. So that was interesting to see Florida State. And then the Florida Utah game.
Yeah.
Florida's in trouble. Billy Napier might be. Yeah.
But Utah like fighting the
Utah's my
most.
that squad
They,
right there.
they like Danny Garcia. They just be banging you. They gonna hit you with the fundamentals, and they gonna take you out if you ain't right. You know what I'm saying? It's something about Utah. Like Utah, like, they used to say this about Michigan State too. You know, you're gonna hurt a few weeks after you play them. Like it's like you're gonna feel it because of the way they get at it, and they just beat you up. And if you ain't ready to match their physicality, you're gonna get boat raced right out of there with Utah.
Man, they
That's
ain't
just
nothing
who they
like no
are.
Danny Garcia. That's Earl Spence. Utah is Earl
You
Spence.
said Utah's Earl Spence.
They Earl Spence. It's gonna take a team like Georgia or something like that just to run them over. But if you're not ready for it, they go,
Ah, I didn't want to go that high, but I was moving in that direction. That's the great thing. Like, yeah, it's going.
well,
Yeah,
you got to go
you
that
need
high.
Georgia. You need that. You need that
Utah been
Terrence
in the
Crawford, right? Yeah,
Utah been in the Rose Bowl last
yeah,
2 years. I
yeah,
mean, they a worthy team, worthy opponent.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
they
boy,
got a veteran
you better
quarterback
step
that didn't even
up.
play. Cam Rising didn't even play, but the backup was in there wheeling and dealing. So hey, man, I like Utah a lot. I like them a whole lot.
Yeah,
I call them they're the West Coast version of. Or I don't even know if Utah you can call them the coast, but they're the out west version of Wisconsin.
yeah. Back when they used to get physical run over, yeah, they like Drago. That's a balanced breakfast over there. You better come. You better come with it, man. Is Brian Kelly might be in trouble?
No, he's too
You don't
early
think
for that.
so?
No, because if they turn around and beat Alabama at the end of the day, he'll be all right.
But if they get
But
boat raced by Alabama.
the thing about LSU was good for losing a couple big games that ended up 10-2.
But is that good for Baton Rouge? You know they don't play that.
Yeah,
Clark and them gonna be
it's
out
year
there.
two. It's year two. He got time. He
You
got
think
time.
they're that patient in S? They ain't that patient in SEC. Well, you getting soft in your older
Man, you
age. They still
saw.
young.
Did you see number 18, the defensive tackle Wingo? Man, that is a Sunday football player right there. I was like, my goodness, he is everywhere.
Yeah, but
So,
they have to put something together, boy. They have if it's a close loss, that's one thing, but they got a little manhandle in the second half, so they're gonna have to get
yeah,
it. They're gonna have to get something right. I feel like he better work. And then and Hammer's not here with us, but yeah, we Wisconsin. We saw Wisconsin's they struggled in that first half. Buffalo, but Buffalo ain't no joke. That's what I'm saying. You familiar with Buffalo? Buffalo ain't
yeah,
no joke. Like they struggled a little bit in the MAC last year trying to be in transition with the new coach, but they came out balling in that game. But then once Allen got going, when Allen ran over what's his Doliak or whatever, an All American,
yeah,
he lowered that shoulder. The rest of that team was like making business decisions. And then my boy Malusi, them two boys running, those two guys, young man. I had a chance. They really nice young men. Uh, they got that going. They was going. They still gonna have to get their receivers. The quarterback is gonna have to start really getting his touch together. The defense has got to tackle better. They talk about Tressel. The difference between Buffalo and them in the first half was really one defense was tackling, the other defense was like I don't know what it was doing, but they was missing they were missing a lot of tackles. They got to tackle better. They were in position to make plays, so I could tell Fickle was not happy after, but he's sometimes you're just glad to get the victory and move on to the next one. But we watch and see what Wisconsin is because they should win that West. Um,
yeah.
they should win that
The
West this
West
year.
isn't the West isn't looking great. They're
It's not
not
looking
looking number
great.
two. Yeah,
Yeah.
but we talked about free Harbaugh. Do you want to talk about free Bomac? Free Bomac. Man, I saw yesterday that
I know that gave a lot. So
Bomac
what? So I saw him. He was happy. He got the win. His boy got the win. Got the knockout over Liam, and
they
then he
caught a
get caught with the gun trying to get out.
he got caught with a gun in the suitcase at the airport.
Look, y'all. I just came from abroad. They don't play. What y'all traveling with guns for? Like I don't understand it. You gotta just present it. All you gotta do is present it. You don't need to hide it. You tell them you got it. They take you through a different process. It ain't like you gotta hide it. You can travel with a gun, but there's a process for a gun. So they holding him, huh? You don't mess around in Dublin.
Yeah, they said they're gonna hold him. They said they're gonna hold him till at least October 9th when the hearing is. Oh, that's a whole month away.
Bomac got stuff to do.
And yeah, he got stuff to do. Shoot, Crawford Smith might have to be in the UK. It might have to be Crawford Smith too might
See,
have to be.
that's PBC right there. That's PBC.
Oh
Somebody
man,
snitched on him. That's
they set
PBC.
him up. They set him up.
That's PBC right there. Somebody snitched on him, man. That ain't got nothing to do with Bo Mac. Somebody put something out on him. That's PBC right there. That's PBC right there. That ain't got nothing to do with Bo Mac. So till October, man.
October 9th. That's a month away.
But Bo Mac might lose some
That's a
weight
month
up in
away.
there because he ain't gonna feed him right.
Yep,
Hopefully, I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen. Man, I know they got to work something out. Bomac can't be in there that long. He got stuff to do. Man, y'all, stop carrying them firearms. If you're gonna carry them, check them in. There's a process. Yeah, it's a little longer, but it's better than staying in jail. It's better than being there. Come on. Y'all know better than that. Y'all know better than that. Man. Well,
I
we'll
wonder if Joe
maybe,
Biden will get him out.
huh?
I wonder if Joe Biden will get him out because they
Somebody
said
got
that
to
the
get.
mandatory minimum of 5 years.
Oh my goodness, Dublin don't mess around. I was supposed to go to Dublin a few years ago for our colloquium. Dublin don't mess around. I ain't doing that. I watched Dublin because I just watched. I was watching Power for the Force. So they got the Chicago game. They got the connections to Dublin. Dublin ain't messing around. So Bomac might slide that money to somebody. Crawford probably gonna slide a check, but I got PBC written all over it, man. Whatever they can do to disrupt Crawford, that's what they're gonna do. But they don't know. Bomac can do that stuff through Zoom. They give him a chance to get some video stuff. Bomac can FaceTime a workout. Crawford got this. All right, we gonna get into the. If I get my thing right, we got the answers. It's NFL. We're gonna do a little bit different. We're not gonna go through all the divisions. We're just gonna talk about themes. We're gonna get into to just rather than get into a lot of divisional stuff. We're gonna talk a little bit about the NFC Championship, AFC Championship, those kind of predictions, bowl predictions, Super Bowl predictions. We'll do that kind of stuff. But season's gonna start here this week. I'm excited. This is like the great time of the year, man. You got college football coming up. You got the NFL, NBA will start to rise up. We didn't talk about the USA team, which we probably should talk about for a minute.
Mhm.
So let me take this off the screen
Yeah,
because
we can talk about them first.
yeah, I didn't even have it on the rundown because I was just disappointed. But I feel like we need to address it because people be like, "Why didn't you address it?" Grant Hill, you on the clock. Steve Kerr, you on the clock. You knew you needed size. I've been watching international basketball forever. You got to have size. You could have had Dwight Howard. You got to have size. You got to have somebody who can bang.
They needed
Um,
Looney. That's who they needed. They
who?
needed Kevon Looney.
Yeah.
They needed
You need
Kevon
somebody.
Looney.
Yeah. Steve. That's where you bring one of your guys. You need a junkyard dog on a team like that. You got to get a guy who don't care about minutes, don't care about anything, just gonna do the dirty work. And uh, you know, guys got to find their role. And the best people always think about our offense and explosiveness, but our best teams are the teams who started with defense because they know they can clamp people up and they just turn into transition. It's something about international basketball and international ball. That ball just be bouncing crazy, man. Some of these cats, you watch them in the NBA shoot shots, they never go in. They play for their team. They hitting shots they ain't never hit. But having said that, there's no way you're supposed to lose to Lithuania. Ain't nothing supposed to happen like that. Um,
Man, Izzy Braves Dinkins was looking like Mitch
oh,
Richmond out there.
but Izzy
He
be talking
was
junk too. You know he be talking junk from a Michigan player. The one thing about it, he'll score on you and talk junk.
oh,
He'll he'll,
man.
he'll be. He got game though. You know,
Mhm.
they'll talk junk, man. So what's your thoughts, man? They got to play.
It
They
was
just got to trap more and play up tempo,
nah, it
scramble.
was it was funny to watch because it was a team coached by Steve Kerr. Like Steve Kerr was watching the team play the way that Steve Kerr wants to play. The ball was moving. They was doing the split action off the post touches, just like they do with Draymond. They was doing this. They was doing a Warriors impression. And then if you look on the other side, somebody saw this on Twitter. Somebody said this on Twitter, and it was so true. It was hilarious that Anthony Edwards was playing like the only D1 on the AAU team. You got the AAU guy you watching the AAU team play at the tournament, and they got one dude. He's playing at Michigan State. He's playing at U of M. He's playing at. He's going to a Power Five next year, and all his teammates are just his regular homeboys from the city. So he gonna go down there and he see these European dudes like, can't none of y'all check me. He's shooting every ball he see, and he just icing everybody out. And the ball's moving on one side, the ball's not moving on the other side. And Lithuania, they're getting rebounds. it's a bad recipe. But I would say in the first half, a lot of the Team USA shots just wasn't going down. It was getting good shots, it just wasn't going down. And if they play again, it'll probably be a different story. But hey, um, rebounding and defense wins. It wins championships. It's just like we said in football, the game's always going to be one of the line of scrimmage. In basketball, rebounding is always going to matter, no matter how far we get away from. No matter how far we get away from Wes Unseld and Elvin Hayes and all them,
Yep.
it's still gonna matter.
Yep.
Most,
Yep. 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 I mean, I remember Beeline. I asked him when after the Wisconsin game because there's a lot of second chance shots, and I said, you know, how do you reduce the number of second chance shots that people are getting? And he's like, I don't pay attention to that. I'm like, that's a mistake. Them are rebounds. Those are extra possessions. Those are like you got to pay attention to that kind of stuff. And I mean, Beeline's a great coach, but these coaches get so caught up and enamored in all this other stuff. It goes back to the basics, like you're saying. Like if you can
isn't that the
control,
same? Isn't
huh?
that the same thing? I asked your boy from Wisconsin at the Mount Invitational. I asked him about the second chance points, and he was like, you know what? We'd rather just hit the shot the first time.
See, I like that answer better than Beeline's, who was clearly they're getting cleared on the killed on the glass. Is like you getting extra possessions, and so you're right. Like defense and rebounds, and when you see people get enamored, but what from the dream team to the redeem team, they started with their defense.
Mhm.
Like their defense was like they committed to defense, and then they got in the transition, and then
But
nobody
to
can
be
catch them in the
fair, but
transition.
to be fair, this team does the same thing. It's just with lesser players. Like they do
Yeah,
the same thing. Anthony Edwards is pressing all the time. So is Mikal Bridges. They trying to extend the defense out to the front court.
yeah,
Except they don't have a Dwight Howard at the back end to clean it up. Jaron Jackson, he's a very good rim protector,
yeah.
and we found out Paolo Banchero, he's a good rim protector too. But he didn't get any rebounds. Like Jaron Jackson went through a
Yeah,
whole
he got
game
like one rebound or
and
something like
had
that.
one rebound.
Yeah.
And the second half of the Montenegro game, he had 0 rebounds too. So he had one rebound the last 6 quarters. Like that can't happen out of your center,
And see,
especially
where
you
that
asking.
comes from is back to your point about your boy shooting all the time. They always say you got to feed the big guy. If he gonna be down there banging, right? So some of that because
Mhm.
rebounds attitude, and he got a good attitude. He might have been like, I'm doing all these trips, and I ain't seeing no rock, I ain't seeing no touches, and they start out giving him the ball, but I don't know. Like, he should never in international play have less than 9 rebounds. Like he should just get that on PT, like that just because of who he is. And so I know he's trying to stay out of foul trouble because he has problems with foul. Like this is a great opportunity for him to grow. He's a great defensive player, but defending without fouling, putting your imprint on the game without fouling. This is a great opportunity for him to step up, and I still got to think they get a chance to win the gold medal because I think sometimes a moment like this get everybody getting serious. It
And
allows
France
Kerr
won.
to play
France
whatever lineup he wants to play.
and France got eliminated in the first couple days.
Yeah, yeah. So
But
it
yeah,
yeah. So this gives this sometimes this is going to give Kerr a lot more leeway to do some of the things he probably wanted to do in terms of lineups because can't nobody say nothing because they got the loss. And I think sometimes you got to be in a position like
I
that. But
disagree.
I
I
love your
disagree
description of
because
Anthony Edwards.
Kerr don't like to play big men. And if it's up to
Yeah.
Kerr gonna start. He go. He, man, never
See,
mind.
but that's
Kerr gonna
consistent.
go
If
with
you look at
finish.
the coaches who lost, Brown and and John Thompson,
Mhm.
they are stubborn in their ways, right? We got a way, and we're gonna play that way, and it's consistent. Brown went to play a certain way, and didn't play those youngins. He probably should have played them youngins. And then when we go back to Coach Thompson, just the way he constructed his team and how he played, he had no shooters, none. He had your boy Hershey Hawkins, and that was it. Yeah, and so he's like the coaches that lose, who are U.S. coaches, are the ones who just get so caught up and enamored in how they want to play rather than what's in front of them. Versus coaches who are willing to adapt and see what they got and make it happen. But when you describe Edwards, that's exactly how he played at the Mile Invitational when he played as a freshman at Georgia. Man, it was funny to watch him. It was like that cat would take every shot. You can see he was getting frustrated, but he would defend anyone. Like that cat was not afraid to defend anybody, but he gonna get his shots, and he gonna make it. If he think the rest of the crew can't come in, he gonna come every day to get his game up. So your description of him was is right on. All right, let's get back in here to the to our NFL stuff here. So we got the answers. We're gonna talk about just a couple of themes around a couple of things. You always hear this term force multiplier. I hear guys say that. Yeah, I love that term. They crack me up with that. That's a great term. And people all describe people like Patrick Mahomes as a force multiplier. You know, somebody who just by his nature creates impact in ways and then impacts the game in crazy ways. You know, someone like who else you would describe like that as a force multiplier?
Current
Um,
players or just
huh?
in general? Current
Huh?
players or just in general?
Yep. Yep.
Current players?
Current players. No, let's go back because we're gonna talk about current players. Let's go
See,
back.
Ray Lewis. Ray
Ray
Lewis is
Lewis.
the ultimate force
Ray
multiplier.
Lewis. Ray
That's
Lewis.
the first name that came to mind.
Yep, yep.
Man,
Troy Polamalu. You know,
yep,
cats like that just changed the changed the game. Ed Reed. You know, those
you know what
kind of
I'm saying?
cats. They just make up for whatever is out there. Dion. You know, basically changes and impacts the game in so many ways. Who would you say in today's game fits that bill? When you look at coming in this season, someone that you say, hey, look, they're gonna make up. This person's gonna make up for what they don't have. They just have that, you know, in a way that people are looking at Patrick Mahomes. You know, you lose a great receiver, don't matter. You got Patrick Mahomes. He's gonna figure it out, and he did.
Another guy would have been Tom Brady, obviously.
Yeah, yeah,
But a guy I would say is Joe Burrow.
yeah.
I think Joe Burrow is a force multiplier. He covers up for a whole lot of fans. Got to think of another guy. Maybe Saquon Barkley,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
or you know what, Michael Parsons.
Yeah, I was thinking about Mike because we
Michael
had that
Parsons.
conversation, right?
Yeah, yeah, he's in
uh,
that conversation.
you know, Micah is someone who, puts that, you know, something on the game. He's all over the place creating. Now he's got a lot more help this year, but I would say
Hmm.
even in his first year, he was wrecking shop in ways that made up for a lot of holes that they might have had, and probably gave the defense a high rating because of all the things, the intangibles he brought to the game as well. Who's your sleeper team? If you had a sleeper team, um, who's a team that you think is a sleeper team or sleeper individual?
Man, the sleeper. Because the thing is, everybody know about the Lions
Yeah,
nowadays, so
yeah, yeah,
you can't call the Lions a sleeper team.
yeah.
Um, shoot. Am I going to sound crazy for saying they're Oakland Raiders? I mean, the Las Vegas Raiders. With Jimmy G coming in there, because
Yeah,
you still got Devontae Adams, you still got Hunter Renfro, you still got Josh Jacobs.
yeah,
Um, I mean, you still got a whole bunch of talent. I mean,
yeah. They still
nobody's
got a
talking
lot of
about
talent.
it.
Yeah,
That could be
yeah,
a team that could make a push that you just don't think about.
yeah. I would say that would be a good example of sleeper team because they got everything. They just switch quarterbacks, and if they have a quarterback, and the one thing about Garoppolo, if he's healthy, is he wins. You know how he wins, but he wins. He's been in big games, and they got the pieces, and their coach needs to win this year. So there's going to be a lot of they're in a tough division, obviously, but they got a lot of talent, and if they play, that to me is a good pick. As a sleeper team. I don't know if I think people are giving them hype, but they could be. I think Jacksonville.
Mhm.
They got a Super Bowl coach. NTN is going to be something else at that running back position. He's finally, Urban Meyer wanted to turn him into a slot receiver, but he's back to where
Oh,
he's.
he got injured. Well, that season he got injured in the preseason.
Yeah,
He got hurt before he played the game. But I still wanted to see what happened if Urban was able to turn him into Percy Harvin. But
yeah.
you never know.
I think they got Ridley right. They got their offense is going to look. I think they got some pieces that's going to look pretty nice, and then I think they got a stern defense, and they got a division that's kind of in my mind going through transition, looking for leaders. Tennessee is going through transition. Indianapolis is going through transition. Houston's going through transition. I think they can get some wins together. And Trevor looked much better last year. We know he's a talented quarterback. He went through a whole thing. He's got some stabilized with a Super Bowl coach. So I think they are a sleeper like team. And then my other team is I'm gonna tell you is my Steelers. If their offensive line can really gel, they got the center spot is a key spot for them, depth there. But if their offensive line can get some push, I think they got the 1-2 punch going with the running backs. Their receiving core is coming together. They got a good tight end, and the quarterback I think is competitive. He's a film rat, and then defensively, as long as T.J. Watt can, we talked about in our earlier show we had T.J. Watt can stay focused and healthy. They got a really good defense that could go, and having an offense that can move the ball can help that defense as well. Some strange things are going to happen in that AFC North, but I think they are. I think I predicted they're not going to finish less than they're going to finish around second, which is a means somebody's going to drop down. But I got a feeling they're going to put together a good season in Pittsburgh amongst a really tough division. I think they're going to be a sleeper rising up. The other one I got, and I don't like because the quarterback. Everybody, but Minnesota, everybody's like thinking they're going to take a step back. And everybody, Detroit's the darling. But I grew up in Michigan. You've been a Lions fan, boy. The Lions fan will take you to the altar and then break your heart. But I saw the Lions play that final game in Green Bay, and they came in there even when they didn't have a chance to win. They put it together. So I know the Lions are good, but I can't really call Minnesota a sleeper because they won so many games last year. But everybody's kind of with Dalvin Cook leaving and everything else. Everyone's like maybe they might take a step back. But Minnesota could mess around and get another 12-win season, 11-win season with what they got going. All right. We had this segment called "Who Do We Trust?" and we've been doing that in our previous one, so we're gonna do this again. So this is one. Who do we trust? Who do we trust? Mark McCarthy and Dak, or Bill O'Brien and Mac Jones? Who do we trust? Want me to go first, or you want to go first?
I would go with the Cowboys because the Cowboys got a better team around them.
Mm.
Still got Trayvon Diggs, still got Michael Parsons. I know I'm talking about the defense right now, but
Yeah.
I trust Dak too because Dak. I feel like he has better weapons on offense too, and also I think he's a better player than Mac Jones at this point. But Dak, he still has CeeDee Lamb. You got Tony Pollard in the backfield. Michael Gallup is still there. Um, I think I'm gonna go with the Cowboys duo over New England.
And I was gonna go that way, but I'm a surprise. I'm gonna go with O'Brien and Mac Jones. And the reason why is I trust O'Brien more than I trust McCarthy. Um, nobody questions him as a play OC. His ability to get the most out of an offense, to organize it. Mac Jones, when he had a competent offensive coordinator, was great. This guy is more than competent. He's really good. I think they gave him some nice pieces. They'll have a running game. I just don't. McCarthy's game, man. I don't. It's less about Dak. It's more about is he going to put Dak in the right place to win, right? And one of the things that really got me, and maybe he'll do it. I know he wants to run more, but I also think I felt like they didn't get the ball to the tight end enough. They didn't give him a security blanket. I think Dak needs that type of person in the game plan, and it just seemed like they didn't really develop that. But I feel like I trust Bill O'Brien more than I do, not even the quarterbacks. I trust him more than I do Mike McCarthy. That might be where I'm gonna go with it, but I think it's pretty close. All right, who do you trust? The Jets versus the Seahawks to make a deep run in the playoffs. Conference championship would be classified as a deep run.
The Jets because they have Aaron Rodgers.
Mm.
They have Aaron Rodgers. They got Sauce Gardner. Dalvin Cook's there. Um, got a really good defensive line.
It's a
I got to go with
gauntlet
the
over
Jets.
there, man. It's a gauntlet
Huh?
over there.
It
To get to
is.
the AFC Championship, Conference Championship, that's a gauntlet over
Yeah,
there.
The Seahawks still got to go through the 49ers.
Yeah, but they depending on how they play out, they might not see them until the championship. If they get depending on if they both make the playoffs, they may not face them until a championship game.
You
They
never
can beat
know.
everybody else, and they might split against the 49ers. You know how that's a rivalry game. They ain't scared of them. Yeah, this is a good one. I was gonna go with the Seahawks because I just think, let's say the 49ers win the division, they make a wild card, they might end up on the other side, and I trust them against Dallas. I trust them against anybody else in the NFC. I even trust them against the 49ers. But if they're on a run to meet the 49ers, it could be the Seahawks against the 49ers. I just think the Jets got a gauntlet. Everything you're saying, I'm hearing. I just think, boy, there's a lot of teams they got to get through to get to the conference championship. But we'll see. We'll watch it. All right. This is a good one. Do you Tomlin to secure another winning season, or the Chiefs to repeat as Super Bowl champions?
Wait. You said Tomlin?
Tomlin to secure another winning season because he's got a streak going. He hasn't never had a not a winning season.
You wrote this question on purpose.
Or
You
or
wrote
or
this
the
is
Chiefs to repeat as Super Bowl champions. That's what.
this is the Steelers fan coming up, right? 'Cause
Well, should I put a little bit more? Let's say I got maybe should I put a number on it? Tomlin to
because
get 10 wins. Let's say for Steelers to get 10 wins, or the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl.
it's still the Steelers because if you talk about a Super Bowl,
Yeah,
you talk about one team winning the Super Bowl. It's the Chiefs versus the field, or
yeah.
it's the Steelers winning 10 games. I'm taking the Steelers to win 10 games because I think they do have a pretty well rounded out roster. It's just when does Kenny Pickett take that next step as a quarterback, and I think the secondary is going to be really good. They got Joey Porter Jr. coming in. Um, the defensive front, the Steelers always have a good defensive front. Najee Harris back there running the block. George Pickens is going to be really. Yeah, the Steelers. I think that they should be a 10-win team.
All right,
Right
all
around there.
right. So here we go. So we're gonna do just the important predictions. That's what we're gonna do. We cut this down. We used to go through all the divisions, but we gonna get to the steak. All right, we're gonna just get to the steak here. Um, who do you got in the NFC Championship game?
Oh man. Um,
I'll go. Let me go. I'll let you go. Let you
yeah,
think
you
for a
go
little bit.
first.
I I I, I see it's gonna be Philly against the 49ers.
Yeah. Let me go Philly versus the Lions.
Oh, that's actually a good one though.
Philly versus the Lions. I was going to say the 49ers. I probably should, but I'm
I
going
like that.
Detroit.
So you got Philly. You got Philly uh, versus the Lions. I'm just putting my. So we mark this. We marking this, ladies and gentlemen. We lie, but we marking this. And I got Philly. I like that pick, man. I do like that pick. Everybody thinks the Lions are darlings, but I think I like the Lions, boy. I ain't gonna trip on you. I'm with you on that one. All right. I'm up here messing up here, messing my thing up. All right, for the AFC, you got to go first.
Um, I'm gonna go with the. I'm gonna go with a shocker here. Um, I'm gonna go with Cincinnati and the Jets.
Wow, wow, that could be true. Wow, woo, man. Since he's starting out, Burrow
Without
kind
Joe
of hurt,
Burrow,
but he gonna come together. Um, wow, the Jets got that defense too. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go uh, the Chiefs versus the Jets. I just did this off the. I think that Jets defense is all they need is a little bit of help. I think it's gonna be the Chiefs versus the Jets. All right, Super Bowl matchup.
The Jets versus the Eagles.
Ooh, you got the Jets versus the Eagles. Oh, oh my goodness. Oh, oh, America, my boy going up. That's gonna be a slobber knocker if that happens. All right, and then I had wow. Ooh, I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a repeat. Philly versus the Chiefs. Philly versus the Chiefs. Who you got winning it all?
Philly.
Wow.
I got Philly. It's gonna be
And we both
tough.
got Philly. Yep.
It's tough. I got Philly. Pull it out.
We both got Philly. I'm got Philly too. All right. We just wanted to do it's the team, the team, the team. That's what we're working with. We're not getting into the individual accolades. We're about the team, the team, the team. We both got Philly. They're not going to have the Super Bowl hangover. And, part of it is that's how Jalen Hurts is built. He ain't built for hangovers. I think part of the reason why they're going to do it is just that he's just such a strong leader, right? If we were doing it, I think he's going to be the MVP. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and shoot, if your prediction happened, I think it's probably going to be Sauce Gardner as defensive MVP, or who would you say? Who's going to be your defensive MVP?
Not the whole season? Yeah.
Yeah,
Man.
if it play out the way you playing it
Maybe.
out.
It could be it's a regular season award. It could still
Yeah,
be Michael Parsons.
yeah, probably Micah. Yeah, yeah,
Or it could be TJ Watt maybe. If he
yeah. I
stays
think if,
healthy.
if the Steelers get 10 games, that meant T.J. Watt would wreck his shot. It'll be between those two going at it. Um, you know, um,
You only tell the people about your fantasy football team.
what?
You want to tell the people about your fantasy football team.
Oh man, I gotta even look it up. I don't even think I'm still trying to remember who I took. I mean, I didn't look at my grades, so I guess I didn't get a good grade, huh? From what they were saying.
Yeah, I didn't look at my grade either.
Yeah,
I don't even know where you look to see your grade.
yeah. They're supposed to give you a grade, um, and I just, yeah, my team, uh, yeah, it was an interesting draft because I got Eckler first out the gate. Then I got his backup, Kelly, or one of his backups, depending on how they play it out. Um, as um, for that, I got Kamara um, as like a bench player, which is good. Um, what else did I get? I'm trying to see if I can even pull it up. Yeah, it'll come up here. Who do you even have your team up?
Yeah, I got my team up. I got
Who'd you
Jalen
get?
Hurts at quarterback,
Yeah,
Stephon Diggs, DJ Moore. I got Kenneth Walker and Montgomery, David Montgomery at running back, George Kittle at tight end, and I got DeAndre Swift. I'm either gonna play DeAndre Swift or Chris Godwin at the swing guy. And on the bench, I have Anthony Richardson. I have then I started doing some other stuff, so they started drafting for me. They picked this random tight end for the Titans. I already waived him. I'm picking up my guy from Oregon State, Luke Musgrave, that tight end.
Yeah.
I got Odell on the bench. I got Michael Gallup on the bench, and I got KJ. I picked up. I'm picking up KJ Osborne.
Look, at, look, you trying to get family. So I got
Yeah,
Deshaun.
awesome.
I got Deshaun Watson. I got Jalen Waddle. I got Amari Cooper, Travis Etienne. I got Matson from Minnesota. Um, I got Dalton Schultz. I got him late. I got Eckler, Kamara. I got Gibson from Washington. Jordan Addison, who I think is going to be sneaky. I got Courtney Sutton, who I think is going to have a decent game. Damian Harris for Buffalo. And I got Joshua Kelly as a backup um, uh, for Eckler because he gets hurt every once in a while. Um, and then I got New England's defense, who I think is going to be good. And Jacksonville's kicker. In my draft, I feel all right. It's all going to hinge on Deshaun, and it kind of like I was waiting on a quarterback, and then I kind of had that old adage, get your quarterback late, and I just kind of ended up with him. But if he has a decent one, but my bye week 5 is going to be a problem. I got some people missing, but I was able to plug holes there. I think I'm picking up another quarterback, so I'm going to drop one of these players and pick up a quarterback. So I need a backup, but we'll get that going. I feel all right about my team. You know, I got the steal is going to be Kamara because he's suspended for 3 weeks. If he comes
Mm-hmm.
back and I'm able to play Kamara, Eckler, and Travis Etienne uh, with Jalen Waddle and Cooper, who is going to be the target, ooh, that's going to be some problems. And if in Dalton Schultz is going to be a major uh, target uh, uh, down in Houston. Like he's going to be for a young quarterback, they're going to be throwing the ball to him. So he gonna get some catches. So I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna
Yeah,
figure it
I
out.
got the MVP.
Huh?
I said I got the MVP.
Yeah, you got a decent team, man. I mean, some guys pick some decent teams. I'm not quite feeling my team the way but I'll start massaging this. By mid-season, I'll have it where I'm at. But you
Yeah.
know,
Next time we do the draft, I got to make sure I got my notification thing on, so it beeps or something when it's my turn. So I was out there watching the Florida State game, and I
see,
look at my phone, and I'm like, "Oh, my pick was 2 picks ago." I was,
yeah, but all y'all, and Maurice is texting me like, "Why is everybody going 2 minutes?" I'm like, "I'm about to turn this thing down to a minute." And then we had one of our players who had the first pick. He didn't even show because he was kept going 2 minutes. So I'm about to really work on that. We have to find a time. I'm thinking about going
man,
back to the brunch. We did a brunch a few years ago. I think about going back to the brunch
it
um,
was
to
taking
get
so long.
get after church, get everybody together so then before they get into the game because everybody was watching the game. We a couple of us were out at a local place, so like 3 of us were there. It was supposed to be 5, 6 of us. So I'm like, nah, we gonna have to, and some of y'all around the country, so we got to figure out something, or we just get in on Zoom or something. But
Yeah, 'cause I was looking at Jordan Addison myself, and
yeah,
I picked up that random tight end. I ended up picking up a random kicker. I was like, "Oh man."
yeah, you up here watching the game, not paying attention.
I was
I'm
like,
glad you weren't. I got
it's like the
attitude.
fifth round. It's like the fifth round. They got me picking the kicker. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
I was like, why are these kickers coming off there? And people are getting kickers out. We had a run on kickers like that. Tell people are not paying attention. Like, how are we gonna run on kickers this early? I'm like, okay, all right, y'all go do. If we got run on tight ends, I was like, wow.
yeah. When the run on tight end happened, I was like, glad I already got Kittle already.
I was like, and then that just threw me off. And then the guy you dropped, I was actually gonna get him, and
You said
he
the
was
guy
gone.
dropped
Yeah, the one that you dropped, the kid from
Hunter
Tennessee.
Henry.
No,
Oh, the one from Tennessee. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah,
dropped both of them.
yeah.
I
So
cause I'm picking my guy Luke
yeah,
Musgrave up from Oregon State. And now I'm
yeah,
picking up Musgrave.
yeah. I was like, if I couldn't get one of these top tight ends, I'm like, who's gonna be a target? I was like, Dalton Schultz gonna be a target because uh,
Yeah,
they gonna need an outlet, so he gonna get some looks.
but I
I
got
was,
I got Kittle and I got Musgrave.
yeah, so I gotta.
The thing that messed me up is if I don't get Musgrave and I just let Hunter Henry off for free.
You might
That
see
could be a
Hunter Henry
problem.
hanging with me. You might see him hanging with me. Well, we'll check in. We'll have to get we got a couple of fantasy guys from way back in the day. We might have to get them on the show to talk about the fantasy picks. So we got a couple from way back in the day who do fantasy who can come in. And then we're gonna probably have our boxing show here soon. So we got a lot of stuff to catch up on that. Maybe we get. I just got one of our old analysts who used to come on reached out to me, and then we'll try and get uh, Doug Fisher, maybe get a roundtable going uh, with you and Isaiah. There's a lot happening in the boxing game, so y'all stay tuned. Watch out. We'll have I don't know if we're gonna call it boxing moment, whatever we call it, boxing special show. We gotta wait for Darnell to come with a name, so we can we'll be doing some boxing here in a few. Check us out on Real Sports Guys. Real Sports Guys on our platform. Uh, we gotta give out some flowers. So Darnell, we're gonna drop the mic. We're gonna give out some flowers.
Man, he messed it up, but I'm gonna give the flowers to him anyway. Flowers go to Brian Bomac McIntyre. He picked up this assignment about a month or so ago, to train Chris Eubank Jr. for his rematch against Liam Smith. He trained him, picked him up, and Chris Eubank was able to get revenge. He dropped him multiple times, and he ended up stopping him in the 10th round. And I think that cemented Bomac as, if not the top trainer in the sport, one of the top trainers in the sport. And then, like we saw yesterday, on the way home, got caught with that weapons charge. So we might not. Yeah, it might be a little while before we see Bomac again. But while he's here, I gotta give my flowers. Darnell, I'm dropping the mic.
All right. This might hurt Darnell, but I want to give my flowers out to my Ann Arbor Pioneers for getting the victory. It's been a long run. It's the second winningest program in the state of Michigan, but it's had a drought for a few years, and to be able to see them get a victory in their second game, trying to rebuild the program, I got to send something out to them. I'm still wishing, but it was hard to watch because I had Darnell over here. So I told Darnell when I was on the phone, I want to see him do well as a line coach. I want him to continue to grow as a coach, but I'm pie high all the way. Back in the day, we used to put chips on them boards, and we want to get back to being competitive. So I got to throw a shout out to Ann Arbor Pioneer football team for getting in that winning column, and I also got to throw out to my other alma mater, Beloit College, for getting in that winning column too with Rockford College. Two programs trying to get back to that championship level experience, spirit, and good to see them get early victories and they can build on here in the future. All right, this is One Mic here. It's good to have y'all. Please check us out on Real Sports Guys on all platforms. We're on podcast platforms as well. You get the video stuff on YouTube, Facebook, IG. Check it all out. Thank you for supporting us. We are the Underground with my brother right here, my cousin, my youngin', the man, Darnell Kirkland Jr., and on behalf of the Hammer, Carl Hampton, who got to get his car fixed so he can get back on. We the Real Sports Guys. We working on the Labor Day. We'll see y'all on the other side.
Ready for the day the Lord called on me. Them all decisions, man, they all on me. I came with this way from Hey, yo, Neil. Hey, what's up? I got you. Got